Call the meeting to order. Please take the roll.
Good morning. Jennifer Baratka.
Here.
Shel Drobnik.
Here.
Doug Erickson. Is he online? No,
Yeah, I haven't heard from him, so I'm not sure.
nor I. Robert Kopish.
Here.
Jeff Ulrich.
Here.
Larry Mivas. And Rachel Hoffman.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, then we have public comment and communications. We have the list here for the public hearing, and there's some people on here that want to talk about agenda item 4, which is not a public hearing. That's a Tammy Melbauer and a Marianne Kerner. So if you want to speak, you're going to have to speak during public comment because we don't have that opportunity when we get to that agenda item. So if you want to do that now, and we got the same, the rules are 3 minutes. If it's on the agenda, which it is, or 2 minutes if it's not. So if you want to do that right now, it'd be the time to do it.
Okay, good morning. I am Mary Ann Kerner. My address is W 6544 County Road H, Phillips. And yes, it is getting noisy where I live. Even my cattle feel the effects of the noise. I used to live close enough to town, but far enough to enjoy the quietness of the country. And now I hear scratching and scraping and equipment running. I blame the Price County Board Zoning Committee entirely for the fact that they did not apparently check things out, the surroundings or the location of this gravel pit site. And yes, we know that they did not tell the truth on their application and they got by with the lies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Good morning. I'm Tammy Melbauer. I live at N9533 East Salberg Lake Road. And I'll start by saying I am not a morning person. Morning to me should start about 8 o'clock, kind of ease into it. But unfortunately, that's not what's happening in our neighborhood. The pit is there. I think we just need to move forward and work together to figure out how to make this, a cohesive existence over the next 10 years, the duration of the cup. So what I am asking for, until the berm and the trees are in place, and it's understandable that it is not, now is not the time of the year to be planting trees and doing things like that. What I'm asking for is an adjustment in the hours of operation for the gravel pit until those things are in place, and then we could review it at that time. I understand they have the need they brought in some machinery, they're doing some screening. I totally get from their perspective that they're trying to get as much work done in the amount of time that they've rented the machinery, and I respect that. However, 6 a.m. start time is tough in an industrial or in a residential area. When I surveyed the other gravel pits in the area that I could find online, most of them had a 7 a.m. start time. So what I'm asking you to consider is until the sound mitigation things are in place, and I believe they have until September of 2027, that we condense those hours to 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 7 a.m. to 2, which is the current time on the close on Saturday. We're asking that just to kind of try and preserve some of the residential feel to the neighborhood. And I believe that 7 a.m. is an early enough start time. So that's what I'm asking you to consider. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, we have nobody else signed up for public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to speak? Sir? Name and address?
Good morning. I'm John Reams. I live at N 9453 East Solberg Lake Road.
Sir, would you spell your last name?
REAMS.
Okay, thank you.
Plural for paper. That's how I get people to remember. I sent an email to Evan late yesterday. I don't know if he saw that or not. I just wanted to bring to attention that a lot of the residents in the area feel that many of the conditions for having this topsoil, sand, gravel pit operations across the street have not really been met, but operations have begun. So I'm hoping that we can get a little bit of clarification on what that really means. So the research I did, it shows that those conditions are active as soon as the permit was signed and said, go ahead. So to me, it seems like the conditions such as a berm, the driveway, many of those 16 conditions should have started before work actually started over in that pit. That didn't happen. I admit recently, about a week ago, the driveway was moved, but that took a month to get a driveway moved down where it should have been. Operations were going on, trucks were going in and out. So if there's anybody who can give us maybe a little more thought or a little bit more information, what happens now when those conditions are violated? If nothing's going to happen, why do we put them on there? So that's basically it. So thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, no other public comment? Okay, any communications committee? Anybody? Okay, then we'll move into the public hearings. And the first public hearing is for a conditional use permit filed by Rebecca and Brett Trigg for the purpose of operating a small-scale restaurant and tavern on property located within the part of Lugerville Plat, Section 16, Township 38 North, Range 1 West in the town of Flambeau, and the address is in 111F. So we open that public hearing.
Do you want me to read the?
Yeah, read the
Okay.
stuff, yeah.
Letters of notification were sent to Amanda Frelke, Charles and Pamela Goebel, Irvin and Janine Roski, Jacob and Alexandra Kratke, John Kelly, Jonathan and Lisa Mumford, Jora Leahy, Kevin Prucha, Lydia and Jason Ewer, Peter and Jane Korab, Lugerville Enterprises LLP, Rebecca and Brett Trigg, Marilyn Campy with the town of Flambeau. And we received one correspondence back that states, I think this sounds like a good opportunity to provide more services and choices for people in the Lugerville area. Bravo for them for their plans. Signed, Amanda Frelke.
And we have nobody on the list here, so we will close that public hearing and move on to the decision on this. Oh, yeah, I always forget that. Is there anybody online that wants to speak? Star 6?
This is Natalie Schuler. I'm here for number 3 on the public hearing.
Okay, when we get there, same thing, star 6 at that time.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and if I forget, just star 6 and say something.
Yeah, Rebecca, you raised your hand online.
I did. Do you need my camera on or do you want me to just speak?
Oh,
No, you
no,
just
we
go
got,
ahead
got her.
and speak.
okay, we're not there yet, right?
No, she's
She's
the
the
applicant
permit
on this
holder.
one, yes.
I'm one of the permit applicants.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. My name is Rebecca Trigg. I am one of 4 owners of Flambeau Sports General Store. And we have not changed our business plan at all since the beginning. The extent of the tavern aspect of our restaurant in terms of being a restaurant is simply that we have a pizza oven. So we are not trying to compete or take over or do anything like that. We're simply trying to support our local area. Over 80% of our business is things like snacks, bear bait, fishing bait, things like that. So not alcohol related or restaurant related. It's simply a general store. And we would just respectfully request that we go ahead and update our conditional use permit, which is, we had one previously, but apparently the town would like for that to be updated. So it's simply request that you approve that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else online? Okay, now we'll move on to the decision. Evan, any comments?
I don't have any,
Pretty straightforward. No issues?
we don't have any issues with this.
Okay. Mitty, questions?
I don't. It sounds like we're just adding to an existing business that's already been there.
So, yeah, just to clarify, I guess what that was, it's the old, new rental sports shop in Lugerville. They revived it a couple years ago. It sounds like they're serving some food and beer on premise. And they're updating their conditional use permit to reflect that. It's got a conditional use permit from back in, it was 83, I believe, to run the store, somewhere back in that time frame. And this is updating it to reflect what their current business plan is.
Yeah, I think that's what she said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we should be fine, right?
Yeah.
No issues. Okay.
I will make that
Any-
motion, Bob, to approve that addition to the conditional use permit.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. And then we'll move on to the item 3. We had the public hearing at our last meeting. And I see we have a couple people here that have requested to speak. I think we'll allow that at this point. So we have Greg Fox and Paul Schreiner. So if you'd like to speak.
Hi, my name's Greg Fox. We've had a cabin on the lake for years, Schnorrs Lake.
Address, please.
Address is west 8802 Schnur Lake, so we're a few down from this place. Been going there for 60 years. I drove up from Vesper, Wisconsin today down by Wisconsin Rapids. Had other folks in my ear about this. We own that land with the pretension that it wasn't going to be commercial. There's no commercial. These are small lots. Hers is 0.8 acres. To run a dog kennel is kind of like running a farm on 0.8 acres. I'm a dog guy, but when you get a bathroom together, and I was up there a few weeks ago because we don't get up there all the time, and their dogs are out on the dock yipping at me, 3 of them, and that's okay. But a herd of them becomes a herd of them, and if you can't control them and you're not supposedly even running the business yet, my opinion is I am not for this whatsoever. I feel it'll drive our property values down. Ain't been there 60 years for that, or to pass it on to the kids for that. It appears they're already doing business. They got the signs up, and with the 3 dogs that come running out, and me and my grandson were fishing through the dock. It appears she's doing business already, and I don't know if that's it should be legal. That's all I got to say about it. I did get a couple calls from neighbors up this week. I got a close friend that lives in Upper Michigan that owns a place between, well, Paul is another one down the road. And he said that there was dogs yapping and kind of raising Cain. And when I was up there, it was the week coming into the 4th of July, and I can vouch for that too. But that being said, you can't run a farm on 0.8 acres, a dog farm, and that I don't know how you make a kennel, and it's the way it's advertised. It's dog friendly, no chaos. I don't know. I've never see a pack of hounds without having chaos, but I'll leave it at that. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Schreiner?
I'm Paul Schreiner from Marshfield, but I have a cabin on W44, 8844 Schnorr Lane. I'm very concerned about why these people are putting all their signs out already in a number of places, and they don't even have a permit. And we've been up there a couple times recently, and there's dogs all over Hick. And I don't know if they're from the rental place or what. And I'm right next door. And it really concerns me that this has gone this far. And that's what I'm concerned about. And that's all I've got to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, part of the reason, oh yeah, that was online. Yeah, okay, thank you. The lady that was online, star 6?
Yep, I'm
Okay.
here.
You were supposed to remind me.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Here's your reminder.
That's all right.
That's
all
okay.
right. Go ahead.
Should I speak now?
Yes.
Okay. I completely understand the neighbor's concern, and I'm going to explain what we've been doing. This is not going to be a traditional kennel. It's small, limited capacity retreat by appointment only in a home-like environment that's not even built yet. Focus on quality care and not high volume, excuse me. Yes, we've had signs up. Yes, we've done a lot of exploratory research on social media, as well as non-revenue driving meet and greets to go through a screening process. We have been doing that to understand the need for our services. And our social media has a very big following, and a lot of people have asked for a service like what we're talking about. So we continue to go down that road. The process that we have in place, every dog has to be screened ahead of time. It's not like somebody can just come and drop a dog off. A meet and greet process that takes at least an hour to 2 hours allows us to meet the dog, meet the parents, have them meet us, make sure that there's a temperament evaluation done, a behavior history review done, and an owner discussion about barking and personality. If the dog is not a good fit, the dog will not be accepted. That is the process that we go through before any dogs would be welcome into the retreat. Our business model is intentionally designed to keep the number of dogs low so that we can provide individual attention and still maintain a calm, quiet environment. Dogs are never going to be left outside unattended, supervised during outdoor play, and if barking does begin, they would be redirected. Outdoor time is scheduled and balanced. We will have an indoor facility that will be climate controlled, an insulated building, comfortable resting spaces, and dogs spend significant time indoors once that's all built out. I understand that dogs do bark occasionally, and my goal is to ensure that it never becomes a nuisance. If barking does occur, it would be immediate redirection, bring the dog indoors, separate if needed. Dogs with excessive barking would not remain in our program. Traffic-wise, it's by appointment only. There's no constant drop-offs, and there's no high volume of customer traffic. And our commitment is that we've owned the cabin for 12 years, and it has been a rental. So we're very familiar with the land, the space. Again, had it for 12 years. We're now moving there permanently in the next month or so. So we want to be a good neighbor first, and then be a business owner second. So in order for this to work, the dogs have to be happy, the clients have to be happy, and the neighbors have to be happy. So keeping the environment peaceful benefits everyone. I can't guarantee that dogs won't bark. You can't, and no homeowner could. And I know there's families that have 4 and 5 dogs just on their own in certain areas out there. You know, when I did my research,
ma'am,
78% of, yes.
Ma'am, your time is up.
Okay.
We allow 3 minutes, and you've used the 3 minutes. So if you want to
Okay.
just close, okay.
Yes, it's basically that our goal is to operate a respectful business that fits well within the community, and the community is asking for our services.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the discussion here. Committee? I have concerns, and the concerns have to do with the barking aspect of dogs and dogs running around. In your packet, you should have a copy of our ordinances. One being the RR1 district.
Yep.
Okay, and the other one being the RBR. And going through that, there is really nothing in here that specifies this as a conditional use. Now, that doesn't mean we can't do it, but it's nothing that's specified in the ordinance, whereas when we dealt with the gravel pit, that was specified in the zoning ordinance that a gravel pit was allowed. The other thing we have here are definitions regarding, let me see the title here, animal welfare and control. And if you go back far enough, under the ends, you can see where we have nuisance animals. And that has to do with barking and so forth and so on. And dogs bark. I understand what the lady said, but dogs bark. And I guess unless you're there 24/7, I don't know how you manage that situation. So I know personally, I would not, I don't care for dogs barking. I don't care for dogs running loose. And so I can understand where the neighbors are coming from. And we're talking 100-foot lots, I think, in that area. I think it's fairly narrow. I've got a 300-foot lot and I have a problem with it. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents worth. So committee, anything you have to say?
So when we look at it, limited number of dogs, nowhere is it spelled out actually how many dogs, or did I miss it? And then does that include the owner's pets? Like, is that functioned into the number?
Is that a question for me?
I don't, oh, wait, that's up to us. I mean, I think we can put limits on it
Right.
if that's a concern. I mean, we can put conditions on this just like anything else if we decide to proceed with doing it. We could, put something in there about barking. If we get complaints on barking from neighbors, that could be a condition that we could withdraw the permit. Dogs running free, same thing. We could put conditions if we get complaints on the dogs running around the neighborhood, we could pull the permit. If we so choose, if we approve it.
Example of conditions, I know last meeting we had talked about it. There was a conditional use permit for a dog boarding and grooming facility back in 2021. It was actually approved. It was applied for in 21. It was approved in January of 22.
That the one on Tower Road?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a different situation, larger lot size.
Yeah, it's a
there was
bigger-
conditions put on that they maintain at least a 6-foot tall fence around the facility and dogs be kept indoors after 10 p.m. And maintaining appropriate licensure through the state. Those were the conditions placed on that one. However, I understand that one was in a different location than this one. It was within the RR1 district, but it was on a lot that was larger. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what
the
size that
lots.
property, I know where that is.
Yeah, it's on Tower Road on the east side of Tower Road going
yeah.
north. But
Barking Bungalow, I think is the name,
that is the
which
name
is
of
an
that one.
interesting name.
We haven't received any complaints on that one, however. It's a larger
I haven't-
lot set back in the woods a little more.
Yeah, it's back off in a wooded area, yeah. We brought this dad cap thing up last time. Did we ever research
There
that?
is license required through the state, and it's through DATCAP for licensing
Okay.
animal boarding facilities.
So that's something they would have to do.
That'd be a separate issue, and I did talk to the applicant about that yesterday, and they were waiting for this process prior to applying for that, because it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to apply for that without
Right.
getting prior approval from zoning.
Is there anything in that dad cap permit that relates to what we're talking about here? Any,
Not that I saw.
Conditions that would limit-
It does have, that one more pertains to the minimum kennel size. So you can only have, and they base their kennel size based on the length of a dog from the nose to the base of a tail. So you need to have so many square feet for a dog between 10 and 20 inches and 20 to 30. There's, from the little bit of reading I did, that's what I found. That's mostly what they regulate. Dogs need to have water. The dogs need, it seems to be more licensure for ensuring the care of the animal, not the location.
Another thing, we got these side yard setbacks. And I would imagine the building they're going to put up would be subject to those setbacks or offsets or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, they'd be
Five, be
so it'd
5
be-
feet.
Yeah, it'd be viewed in as an accessory structure.
Yeah.
However, within the RR1 district, there is a setback for structures used to house more than one animal unit. And if you read through the ordinance, one animal unit has a definition of one cow, one horse, like 100 chickens, 100, it doesn't specify how many dogs equate in our ordinance
But
equates to
that's
one
a-
animal unit.
And that's 100 feet.
It is 100 feet, yes.
You
That-
you couldn't even do that.
Correct. So I don't know. We'd have to look at the state definitions to see how many dogs would equate to one animal unit. In our ordinance, it defines, one horse, one cow. I think it's 4 pigs, 100 chickens, 100 ducks, or any combination of those. So
How wide is this lot?
100 feet, I think. Do you know for sure? I don't know for sure. I heard it was.
yeah,
100
it's
feet.
right. I believe it is 100 feet. You could measure in a few seconds there, Nick, if you wanted to.
And that's a gravel road, basically 1 car wide. So it's not a high use type road. And I think that's what some of the people have said. It's a fairly quiet.
Yeah, it's 100 feet.
Area. It's not like living on Lakeshore Drive where you got cars going by all the time. So what do you think?
So, Mr. Chairman, while it's not in the application, the number of dogs on this map that was provided, there is a note at the bottom that says limited number of dogs we accept is 3 to 4 at a time. That doesn't tell us the total number because if they have their own, are we up to 6, 8? And I guess in their application, they talk about a cage-free environment for dogs. So if we're doing cage-free, and that means that, in my mind, they're able to run the property, there's going to be a lot of barking.
Well, do you have any inclination to put conditions on this? Or is that a moot point?
And I'm
What you're
sorry,
thinking?
Bob, this doesn't fall under our other rules. We can actually deny this. Like-
Yeah, there's
like,
nothing
yeah.
like a Act 67 that we
Yeah,
got
that's
into with the
what I
gravel pit, no.
was asking.
No, not that I'm aware of. Are you aware of anything?
It depends how you define the home occupation under the conditional uses within the RR1 district. That's
That's
where, yeah. And that's what the applicant applied.
Well, the conditional uses reads recreational service-oriented uses such as resorts and motels, restaurants and cocktail lounges, marinas, sports shops, bait sales, and other recreational services which are, in the opinion of the County Land Use and Extension Committee, are of the same general character or clearly incidental to a permitted use. Okay, multifamily dwellings, mobile home parks and campgrounds. That's the conditional uses. The permitted uses are 1 and 2 family dwelling units.
Well, and then you have to keep going down,
Go
because
to
it goes on to
pages
the next page.
4,
Oh, yeah,
5, and 6.
cluster and plan developments, home occupation and expanded home occupation, but it all has to do with
Correct.
basically
And
residential.
that's what the argument could potentially be,
Yeah,
is
and
that
that's
a
what I
dog-
thought when I read it. This isn't even on the list.
a dog boarding facility is viewed as a home occupation. That's what the one in 21 applied for on Tower
home
Road,
occupation?
Home occupation, that they're running the business at their home. So.
Expanded home occupation is what you're talking about? Is that the item?
Or home occupation, yeah.
Yeah. So what's your pleasure? What do you want to do? You want to proceed?
I mean, I would like to see them take this back and spell everything out, like number of dogs like that they have and all of that, because otherwise I'm gonna slap numbers on them as a condition, and I don't want to be that person.
Mhm.
Well, that's, I mean, the committee
Because-
can certainly put those on there to try and alleviate the concerns, and that's, yeah.
I mean, but I guess I don't want to stop their voice. I mean, if they had a certain number in mind and they only own one pet themselves, like I don't want to say you can only have 3 dogs during one day, right? Like that, say that's my condition, but that includes their pets. Like then are they only allowed to have one? Or like I would like them to spell out what they want. I mean, right now it says 3 to 4 at a time, but does that include their pets?
They are online if you have a question.
Are we able to ask that question to the?
Yeah, if you want, if she's online, if you want to ask her, sure. Now, we heard some public comment that had some concerns about dogs running around and whatever.
Right.
And that's from one of the neighbors, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be my question. What is the proposed
Ms. Schuler, are you
physical
there?
number of dogs?
Yeah,
Ms. Schuler?
yep,
Yeah,
I'm
would
here.
you come online
I'm
and
here.
answer the question, please?
Yes, I can. 3 to 4 would not include ours. We have 2, a small corgi and 1 lab. From all the research that I've done, most of the clients that need our kind of service, it is cage-free, but they will be supervised 24/7, overnight supervision as well. That is what I'm calling an upper scale dog boarding. The intent is to not bring them to a kennel. The intent is to basically have them in a free environment with owners, because we will constantly be there. They're part of our day, part of our family during those days where they don't just get dropped off. The cage free, they will have a place to sleep at night that will be enclosed. All of that will still happen, but it's not a typical kennel that we're doing where you come and drop, and there's dog. That's not what's happening. That's not how we're doing it. I'm perfectly fine, looking at the conditions. From all the research that I've done as well, people don't need this service on a weekly basis. It's a lot of people that don't want to kennel their dogs, that aren't comfortable kenneling their dog, that are looking for another option. So some customers are saying, I may need you twice a year. I may need you once a
Ma'am?
year. I may
Ma'am?
need you once a month. Yes.
So is there a plan to fence in the entire yard? Or is it just the small drawing?
If we need to put up a full fence, we probably could. I don't have that in our plan as of yet.
And I guess in the plan on this,
Albert, yeah, go ahead.
they're showing that the hours of operation are 8 AM to 6 PM daily. And now we're talking about overnight.
Ma'am, is Mr. Albert correct? You're talking overnight.
Well, yes, basically most of the need is for overnight stays, mainly on weekends from the locals.
So then those hours aren't accurate.
Mhm. It says overnight boarding may occur,
Yeah, okay.
but it sounds like the most intent is to do overnight boarding.
Yes, it would be.
I don't know if the application quite aligns with the intent of the services, from my perspective.
Which is where I'm kind of at. I don't, for what she spoke about today to what we're looking at us in front of it, I would like to see it taken. I mean, can we send it back for revision so it actually spells it out?
Yeah, whatever you would choose to do. We
There's-
don't
there-
have
is
to
there a
make a
90
decision
day or-
today.
There's no 90-day or anything like that?
There is a 90-day, however, you could deem the application incomplete and
But it started 30 days ago, right?
No, we
started
tabled it
when the
last month.
application was applied for, similar to the other, and it started,
June 1st?
I'd have to see, it was, right around there, the application was signed and notarized. back
When
in
was
May-
that? June?
Back in May 21st, but
May?
I'd have to look at our receipt book to see when it was actually received, however, if the committee deems the application to be incomplete or we want more
We could extend the time.
Certainly could.
Is that what you're saying?
So yes, I'd like to
If
make a
that's-
motion that we send it back for revisions
So
with an
then
exemption of the 90 days.
we'd be looking at the September meeting.
Because we
we're
don't
not-
have the August one.
And just for clarification, what do you want the overnight issue addressed?
Overnight
the
issue addressed,
fencing?
the fencing, along with number of dogs spelled out.
Because it seems to be, I guess maybe we want to ask that question. It seems the bigger concern would be unfenced dogs just roaming the 0.8 acre parcel, which I can't keep. That's
Because-
not my,
yeah,
I
'cause-
can't keep my dog on my 3 acre lot.
Say that again, you drifted away.
Oh, sorry. It's hard to keep, I understand it's hard to keep a dog on a small parcel.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And like I said, the application is saying cage free. To me, that's,
yep,
so.
yep. Well, what do you think? Is it worth deferring, or do you want to do something today?
I would like to make a motion that we let them take the application back, better detail out our concerns that we're voicing now,
Yep,
and then let them bring it back for the September meeting.
okay, that's a motion. You got that, Meredith?
Mr. Robnick, can I ask that we,
Well, she's got a motion, so we need a second, and then we can discuss. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Okay, now discussion on the motion.
So discussion on the motion, I'd like to have it where it's laid out of total number of dogs, whether it be personal and contracted,
Yeah,
have that maximum number at any given time.
that's a condition.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think if this passes, that's what we should be thinking about, is what kind of conditions we want to put on here.
Mhm.
You know, obviously, I'd want something on there having to do with anybody complaints for barking, complaints for dogs running loose.
Mhm.
We
Right.
start getting complaints, we approve this, then we should be able to pull the permit.
Absolutely.
And that's where I'm saying, like, if I'm gonna put a number of dogs, I'm gonna say you're only allowed 2 outside of your house, so there would only be 4 total. Right? I mean, like,
Well, if it's
in
two-
my mind,
Boarding and 2 of their own, that's 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
but I mean, and
And
if they ever got a 3rd dog, they would be down to 1, you know? So I would like them to allow them the opportunity to revisit their application.
And from what Ms. Schuler said, is they're going to be there 24/7 when there's dogs. Well, then they need to be there 24/7.
Correct.
So if they've got dogs there 30 days in a row, somebody's got to be home 30 days in a row.
You may
Okay,
also want to look at our dog licensing levels, like, because as a person, you can have a certain amount of dogs before it becomes a issue too. So be cautious on limiting it. If I could just personally have X dogs and you're limiting somebody else to a
Yeah, I hear
different
what you're
number.
saying. If you,
Just-
as an
I'm not-
individual, could have.
Do you know what the number
6
is?
dogs.
5?
Well,
roughly?
I think, then you need to get a kennel license instead of individually licensing.
Right, but I'm
the
just
sheriff's
saying,
department. But
caution on
that-
limiting it below what a
But
general
that's-
public. can-
Right, I'm just
That's a separate issue.
putting a number.
Right.
This is a business type of deal, so they can address that.
Other than me, any comments on this side of the room? Anything you
I-
want to say?
I personally don't feel the need to drag it out.
Okay. Doug? Well, that's you're going to vote on.
I just don't think this is the ideal place for this situation. Not
I
saying
I don't either. I just want
I'm
to,
not in favor of this. I'll say that.
Okay, why don't we take care of this motion that we have on to extend the time period? Okay, and maybe we won't get past that, and then we'll go from there, okay? So why don't we take the vote on what's the motion again?
Just to postpone.
I have the motion, Dropnik, second Ulrich, to send the application back to better detail the concerns listed below and to bring the application back to the September meeting. So
Okay,
postpone. it.
that's the motion. Okay, so I'll take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I,
No.
Aye.
Okay, so that's defeated. So now we're back to the base issue of dealing with it here today. So is there any kind of a motion on this?
motion to deny the application.
Okay, there's a motion to deny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Who seconded?
Me.
You did. Okay, so there's a motion, a first and a second. Any discussion on that?
Can I get clarification
Yep.
just to provide to the owner on the reason for denial? Generally, it's because conditions can't be met. One
Oh,
potential thing would be the building setback for
I guess
the,
the conditions that I'm thinking about is the size of the lot, the number of dogs that are going to be on it, and no way of being able to, without fencing the entire property in, to control that.
okay, yeah, that's,
I mean,
just,
0.8 acres, again, that's small to do anything.
right, no, I understand. I just want, that way I can provide it back to the applicant. One issue would be that 100-foot building setback for structures used to house more than one animal unit
Mhm.
within the RR1 district. That condition could never be met. So that's,
If that turns out applying, because it doesn't specify dogs, it talks about cows and stuff like that. But yeah, I
doesn't,
agree
but
with
if
you.
that was a condition the committee chose to put on was a 100-foot setback for a
We
building
we
used
could do that,
for
yeah.
dogs.
Which would, yeah. Okay, so we got a first and a second to deny. Any other discussion? Okay, let's vote on it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so the application's been denied. Okay. Okay, now we have a little bit of humor, a lighter topic. We're going to follow up on the gravel pit on Silver Lake Road. And the main purpose of having this on there is just to find out if things are going the way they're supposed to be going, if the conditions are being met, what's actually happening out there so the committee knows what's going on. I took a ride out there last week when I was down there just to see what was going on, and they had a big pile of dirt, and I'm wondering what I had the same concern with somebody else. Why are they here? Why aren't they back there? But they're doing topsoil. So whatever. So you want to just kind of give us an update on how it's going? We had some concerns about some of the conditions not being met, or maybe we should change it. So Evan, I would assume you're on top of all that.
Yeah, I've been in correspondence with the pit operators and the neighbors quite a bit over the last month. The hours of operation thing, that was one concern that was brought up. While they are staying within their hours of operation, the buffer isn't there yet. And they're not back in the woods where the pit is going to be at this point because topsoil is being screened up front. So I communicated with them if they had concerns on that to bring that to the committee. Ultimately, the committee could change those for the time being. My understanding is the field work is going to be completed within the next couple weeks. And then they'll be back in the woods where the future pit is going to go. I was out there on site last week to take a look at the landfill site area to ensure that that was marked to meet condition number 16 that states the existing solid waste disposal site shall be marked with some form of permanent markers and signs to deter encroachment. The entire area was lined with when they removed stumps, they moved them to line the entire landfill area to stay out of that. It was flagged off. Signs had been ordered. They just came in. The operator showed me the signs this morning that are going to be put around the entire landfill site area. So people don't stay out of there, or so people stay out of there. The driveway was put in last Friday and it's crushed stone to limit tracking on the road. It was moved to meet the 100-foot setback from any neighboring driveway. The buffer area is not planted yet. That will be done sometime here within the next few weeks. So, what were the other concerns?
Excuse me. And so in your opinion, are we having compliance with the conditions? Because the
So
comment was
far-
made is that they're not complying.
The only one that I had talked with the owners about was the 100-foot buffer. That we do have the condition no later than September 1st, 2027 to establish the trees and the buffer. The driveway issue, they were using the existing driveway until the new driveway was built. I mean, there is an issue where you need to somehow build the existing or the
Right.
new driveway. So without working, you can't do that. So
Right.
it's been moved. The stone's been put on to comply. Otherwise, yeah, I've been following up with complaints to investigate. So I don't know. Otherwise, I haven't seen any major issues.
What about the hour situation?
Well, the current conditions say 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I haven't had anybody follow up and say that those hours have been being violated where the screener's running before 6 a.m. or after 6 p.m. The one complaint was it started at 6:02 the one day, which, well, even the one that complained about it acknowledged that falls within the conditions. They just felt that was
Well, and
without the buffer established.
We had a request here today through public comment to change it to 7.
Yeah, and that is something that the committee could do. And if you went that route, you could even put a limited time frame on that to, do it for 2 months until the pit is located in the back. I imagine the concerns wouldn't be there on the hours of operation if it was within the area that the pit is going to go.
Yeah, and I
next
think on the stop time, I think they requested 5, and we gave them 6. I think I brought that up at the end of the meeting last time. But so I would assume the morning hour is a bigger deal than the evening hour. I'm
What was
just
your-
making that assumption.
The request was 7 to 5
Yeah.
and 7 to 2.
Yeah.
But
No, 6.
But the bigger complaint I've received is on the morning end of things.
Yeah.
I haven't actually received a complaint on the afternoon end of things, but
Now, can we unilaterally do that, or do we need agreement because we already approved the permit?
this committee has the authority to amend conditions.
And then what happens with the other party? They have to just accept it?
Yeah, they have to accept, even last month, they had to accept the conditions that you put on the,
Okay, so we could do that here today.
you could, I would caution against doing that long term, but.
So
that's
you're
up to you.
proposing like for 60 days?
Yeah, or even 30 days. The applicant or the operator is here. You can consult them if you want and
Well,
ask.
if you want to speak to that, you want to speak to that? Sure. Okay, why don't you come up here?
Ryan Janik. We got most of the topsoil stripped off within 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, depending on the weather, and we're not there every day. Everything should be seeded back in, at least the buffer area for sure. I don't know about the lies that are being said, but there is not going to be a berm by the road anymore.
Just us.
Being that the pit got moved to the back now, the trees that are already established there are going to be the buffer. We are going to plant new trees along the power line, like the condition says, once we get all the topsoil. We're stripping a little bit off in the 100-foot buffer, and then we're putting back the screenings, the 3/4 minus back in there. It wasn't vegetated to start with. It takes time to get it there. So they're doing that now. They're hauling the screenings back out by the road, and they're dozing that out. So that can be seeded. The buffer, 100-foot buffer and the 50-foot buffer can be seeded down. Probably next week, we could probably do that and get that established. We're just gonna seed it with clover and like a DOT mix to get some green in it. So I know there was a complaint that it ain't gonna grow, but it's got all the topsoil back there. So it'll be fertilized and.
Go ahead, Mr. Erickson.
Ryan, could you voluntarily not start work till 7 on that front part for the next couple weeks?
Well, we're fighting. I mean, there's been plenty of pictures that no one were there. We haven't been there much before 6:30. That one day when there was a complaint, I was there at 6:24. Last night I left the pit at 6:12 because somebody come and talked to us. We shut everything down at 5:45. So we usually get to the shop at 6 o'clock. And the time we get out there at 6:30, you know? So there's,
But could you voluntary for the next couple weeks while you're working in that front?
if that's what it takes, it's just gonna prolong the process, you know, by doing shorter hours. We're trying to bust our ass to get out of there and get in the back or out of sight, out of mind, you know? It'll probably never be out of mind, but at least it won't be in front. And then we're gonna red granite or a blue granite the entire road. Instead of doing just a 100-foot entrance, we're gonna do the entire road all the way to the woods line, just to help with dust on the way out. Cause that's all hard rock, so it doesn't create that dust, the fines. So we're trying to do that to help out with the dust. Once everything's done, all there's gonna be is a pile back there on the back side of the fields, and in front will be all greens, so.
And how long before you get to that point?
It's mostly, I think by the weekend, by Saturday, we should be almost done screening the front. We may have a little bit left, but we might not be there again for a few days, you know? So they're doing other stuff.
Off and on.
Yeah, it's kind of an off and on thing. It's like, I don't know if you can count on one hand the days we've been there full days for 10 hours, you know?
Yeah.
I can count.
Uh,
I work
ma'am?
from
Ma'am,
9 consecutive days.
I hear you, but you're out of order right now. Okay. We're looking for some compromise here.
If you want to start at 7, if that's what it takes, it's gonna take, it's just, you know, that's gonna take a little longer time, you know?
Yeah, it'll drag out the
It'll
process.
drag out the process. We're just trying to get it done out of there and get in the back. The back's all cut off. We just gotta start stumping on it. And those stumps are all going by the berm. You know, I just got the signs the other day. We're gonna put those up. The DNR did call me yesterday too, and just asked if anything changed, and he said everything's great. I sent them pictures of the landfill area. They said that looks good, so.
So you think how long is it going to take you to get to the back and not be operating in?
I'm thinking in a couple of weeks we should be back. If I can stay on it, it's just, you know, I gotta go other places too, you know. We're trying now, and now we're baling hay, but I'm thinking by the weekend we should almost be. Everything's gonna be pushed up. We might not have it all screened by the weekend, but it should be close.
Yeah.
You know, and then next week I could see the buffer down, you know.
Yeah, Doug?
I guess as a compromise, I'm wondering if we could just do the 7 o'clock in the front there. If
tell us-
that is our biggest complaint, I think that'd be nice to work with that, but
Just on the front parcel.
Until the
yes,
screener moves.
Start at 6
Yes, the
o'clock on
screening.
backside,
right,
Like,
right. No,
I-
I'm just talking up front when they're working up towards the road here.
I mean, if that's what it takes, we're trying to be as decent as we can. We're not making noise on purpose, and
Well, if you can do that, why don't we do that?
I mean, we're trying, like I said, we're putting rock on the whole road to try to keep dust down.
And in a couple
and
of weeks, it'll be a moot point.
couple of weeks, it should be,
Yeah, and then you can go back to the,
as long as the screener's in front, we can start at 7.
okay, that sounds good. The other thing was the noise. And we put a 90 decibel limit, and I'm not sure what the noise level is where the lady was talking. But we've got, like I mentioned when we did it, that's what we put on the large assembly ordinance at the fair, and that's what's on the lake as far as DNR with noise. So, and the further you get away, the number goes down.
Yeah, I
So
would
I'm not
sure-
sure what it is. If
I would
it's
sure
less
think
than
that
90,
screeners-
they're in compliance.
The screener's a
Even
lot
though you're
quieter
hearing
than a
something,
crusher.
it still would be in compliance. It's tough for me living on a lake to have boats going by and not hear them. But that's what it is. It's a lake. This is a operation, so there's going to be some noise. So I don't know how to respond to that issue unless we measure the decibels and you're over 90, but you're not. I doubt it. But
Yeah, I'm just,
so that's a reasonable number. Let's shoot
so
for
end of the
stuff.
day, that whole front field will be green again with a blue driveway going through it and a pile of topsoil in the corner.
Okay.
That we will be digging off of here and there, you know? But 90% of the work will be in the back.
Yeah. Okay. If you can do that, I think from my perspective, committee, where are you at on it?
I have an additional question, so let's.
Oh, go
let's-
ahead.
Well, you mentioned in the front of that you're gonna put the grass on the berm. What is the plan for the trees and all that are in part of the conditional use permit?
Well, there's no berm by the road anymore.
Yeah, just to clarify, there is no berm requirement. There's a unexcavated there's a vegetative buffer requirement, not a berm. We've got the trees requirement.
So
yes.
you're saying that you're gonna be seeding it with grass?
Like just how it was.
Okay.
The berm got shut down, so we moved him back, and now we got the original woods as a buffer, but we still are gonna put a barrier of trees there once we seed it, which should be probably in the spring when the tree orders come out.
Okay.
So like that date of 27, yeah.
We got,
But
the
usually you can do
vegetative
this-
buffer shall be planted with a minimum of 3 rows of coniferous trees by the date of September 1st, 2027.
But in the spring, we were gonna take
Trees
the-
will be planted in the spring.
from the
I'm
county,
sure.
get a tree order.
Yeah, you can't, this time, you'd kill it, you'd kill a tree if you planted them right now, for sure.
No, I understand. I guess I heard grass being planted and it was gonna be that portion is done. Well, really it's not. It needs the trees section yet first. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be green this fall. But next spring will be the trees will go in. Anything
Okay.
else?
So note that's 7:00.
Do you need a motion for that?
I don't know if you could make a motion on this because it just says follow-up. I would say if the agenda item was, we're going to review the conditional use permit and alt.
You may be right, but I think
There's
we-
been no
we-
notice to the
We
public.
understand each other.
Yeah.
So.
But I think we're asking him as.
Yep, that's
voluntarily.
fine. I'm just
That's what you
saying,
did. And
you-
I think we got agreement on that, so we can go on that.
yeah, I would just be cautious
I
on
don't
an
think we need a-
official action
we need a
on,
motion.
without notice to the
I understand.
public.
Understand. Thank you. Parliamentarian. Anybody else? Anything else we need to know, Evan?
About this, I don't have anything else.
So it's still 7 to 6 then?
So, yeah, until you get out of the,
Probably move the screener
Move-
back. Screener is gonna go in the back.
then you go in the back. Then you'll just be driving back there
Yeah.
and stuff, and I
I'll go
don't,
back there for a week, probably screen 1,000 yards of
Yeah.
sand and
okay.
we'll pull her out.
Yeah, just to get that away from the front part.
Okay. I'll keep you updated when we move him back then.
Appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, are we all done then? Everybody okay? All right. Let's move on to item number 5, a land division.
Mr. Kopich, there
Yes.
was somebody from the public that had a question.
Excuse me? Oh,
So he mentioned that you were putting blue gravel, is that?
Blue granite is a hard rock.
Yeah, but I thought it had to be paved.
no.
No, the conditions are,
Paved crushed asphalt.
it is. To prevent tracking of mud is condition 14. To prevent tracking of mud onto public roads, access driveways shall be paved, crushed, recycled asphalt, or stone within 100 feet of public roads.
Okay, so it's in the form.
Or, yeah, basically, so to keep it, so it's not just gravel, so it keeps the dust down is the intention.
Originally, it was gonna be blacktop when we were gonna put the pit in the front.
Yeah,
We We're gonna blacktop an entrance with a berm, but now we moved it in the
yeah,
back.
yeah. So that blue gravel, is that like what you have there already?
Yeah, it's just gotta get rained on to wash, any little fines down, but it's the hard rock that comes from or by a player.
Okay, okay, thank you.
they won't be
Yeah, no, I just didn't understand it. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, go ahead.
One real quick comment.
Yeah.
There's one more condition that I think is pretty important for the driveway. That's the gate. When is that gonna go up?
The secured gate when it's not in operation. That'll go up as soon as the other driveway is totally abandoned. And
When it's not active, it's gonna be November, so we'll have it up by November and it'll be closed. We're not gonna close it every day because we're in and out of there. So when we're not in there for the season, then we'll lock it out.
yeah, because the condition states that it's shall be secured when not in operation.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean daily, that means annually.
Well, when the pit's not being used out of season.
When they
yeah.
stop using it for the season, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
And honestly, the way it would look really silly to put a gate on that road right now. You could, with a pickup truck, you could drive into that field off any spot on Solberg Lake Road. Yeah.
So are you gonna put the gate like in front of the woods for the,
It's gonna be right on the road, right on the entrance.
what's the point though? It's
Once the
not-
trees are planted, that's,
Oh,
That's the whole
okay.
point.
Yeah.
It's like you can drive
yeah,
around.
once the trees are planted, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like,
That's why it looks silly right now, but once the
Yeah,
trees are
okay,
established, then a gate would make sense.
Okay,
okay, thank you.
okay, now we're done.
Yep. Can I have one more thing?
Yeah,
So everyone knows it's the 6 to 6 or 5 to 6 are operational hours, right? Because I've been getting a lot of pictures taken when we're just in there in our vehicles after or before hours, mostly after hours.
yeah,
That's correct, isn't it? It's operation when we're screening and crushing, not just on our property.
Yeah, we talked about.
Oh, yeah,
that.
you should be able to go on your property anytime you want. Yeah,
Pulling in there.
sir, let's,
Pulling out with a full dump truck after hours is still operations. I mean, not filling it up,
That was my vehicle for the
but you're
day.
taking it out.
And, I had people coming there and talking to
We're
me.
not gonna get
and that's-
mess.
sir, let's,
They want to talk.
okay,
they can go
yeah,
outside.
let's not get too picky here, okay?
Just don't want
I
to
think, I think they're trying to do what we wanted them to do, and I know this is a difficult subject, but there's got to be some latitude on some of this stuff, and I understand where you're coming from.
And I want, you know, I appreciate, I've heard.
Okay. Yeah, We're-
I just have to make sure that everything stays on it. that's all.
yeah, that's fine. And you keep communicating with Evan, and we'll keep getting updates and make sure everything's fine. Yeah.
We're doing it for.
Okay.
for business.
We're done.
All right.
Okay,
Line item number 5.
all right, item 5. Thanks.
Agree.
Okay, land division filed by Ezra Gotham on behalf of Ralph Winter to create 2 lots in the town of Cannon.
Copy of the CSM submitted. And just have happens to be Charlotte, so we.
Oops, sorry, I had my mic off. It happens to be shoreline, so we have zoning jurisdiction there, so it was submitted to us. The lots meet our minimum lot size requirements. They're roughly 6 acres, 300 and some feet of frontage on the flowage that's there. So I have no issue at all.
Okay, so there's no issues with this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. That's approved. Department reports?
You got a copy of the permit report. This year's been really busy permitting wise compared to, I guess compared to last year, we're a lot busier. We're probably back to the 21 levels.
What?
You want to take your first? Somebody else forgot to-
Yeah,
I think that was Tammy's.
yeah.
Oh, ma'am?
I'll go see if I can run down real quick.
That was Tammy that left this one over here.
Here.
For those online, the crowd left and left a few items, so we're gathering those items for those people.
We
Okay,
don't receive any fees, however, for operating.
no,
No, we tried a few years ago. Didn't go over well.
didn't go so good.
No.
Okay,
Um,
anything else, Evan?
And then Nick did you update?
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
about
I,
the-
I was gonna update and
ordinance
then we
issue.
got 2 going, but
Yeah.
just a update on a couple things that Evan and I have been working on. So one was the ordinance that we talked about earlier where with salvage.
Junk salvage.
Junk salvage. We're looking into that. We're gonna have that here in the next couple months. We'll work on what that looks like. The other one that we're currently, we're working with a tollless law. So it's WCA's recommended law firm, Andy Phillips. We're working with one of the partners there, Rebecca Roker. We are putting together, or we're updating our ordinances is the approach we think we're going to take to cover BESS systems and data centers. So right now we have nothing that we're aware of coming to the area, but we want to get ahead of it. We discussed with legal, a lot of counties are doing these moratoriums and all this stuff. We don't believe that's the right approach when talking to legal, because we don't have anything pressing coming. So I don't want to create this feel that something's happening and get the crowds going and anything like that. So hopefully in the next 2 to 4 weeks, Evan and I'll have a draft at what they're recommending as updates to our ordinances or potentially new ordinances. We'll then bring it to you guys. You guys would go through the process, the public hearings, all that stuff. It should be by this fall, we would have something for you guys to put on the books.
Our goal would be to do it as an ordinance amendment, similar to the junk salvage. And
Correct.
it's relatively expensive to do an ordinance amendment with the publications and the registered mailings. So we want to tie them.
Try to
I
do
want
it
to
all
tie
at
as
once.
many amendments together as we can.
And for those who are new, so data centers and BESs are two different things. Data centers are what you're hearing in the news. Right now, we're not a hot spot for it. We don't have the electricity. It takes a lot to do that. So that's why no moratorium. Let's just get ahead of it. We don't want to outright ban it, because those are the things that when we do that, then the state takes away local control, because they say you can't play nice and we're going to do it for you. So we're trying to work as all the surrounding counties, everybody else, to say, here's what we would require if something like that were to consider here. BESS, that's probably the higher concern. So that's a battery storage system, battery energy storage system.
Yeah, it's a
BESS.
huge battery thing to back
Yeah, so it's
up
just a
that.
big building with batteries. That's more likely to something you would see in a rural area. What they do is they harvest energy all night and then they distribute it all day to help the grid maintain. So when a hot day comes, you don't have to turn that power plant up. You can just use some of the battery storage that the power plant stayed on during the evening. Because how power plants work is right now is when the power needed, they have to ramp up, and when the power is not needed, it goes down. Well, they figure our power plants have the capacity to run about 70% more than what they do, because we have to look at peak systems. The best version would be like a Minocqua, right? All winter there's 4,000 people. All summer there's 25,000 people. They need a power system that runs for 25, not for 5. With these BESs, it would be the opposite, right? You'd need a power system that can run for 12,000 people, because you can manage it at night differently. So we're more likely to see something like that in the area. But we should have something to cover those in the by the end of the year.
Our timeline goal was bring it to
By November.
committee with a rough draft in September, send it to the October public hearing at committee, and bring it to county board in November, right? Wasn't that the kind of the timeline? we were doing?
Our goal is November's our last meeting, so we'd want to
Right.
have it by then, so that we don't have to have anything.
So this
special.
committee would see a little bit of something in September, public hearing, October, county board, November, I think.
Yeah,
was-
depending on when we can get done.
Yeah.
The other thing is we only cover our zoned areas. So like the Park Falls last Monday put in their own ordinance. So they passed it. I was there. There was one individual that had some concerns, but nothing, no big crowds.
Yeah, we don't have general zoning jurisdiction within the incorporated areas. So City of Park Falls, City of Phillips, Village of Prentice, Village of Kennon, Village of Catawba. And then there are 5 towns that we do not have general zoning jurisdiction in either, Ogama, Hill, Kennon, Catawba, and Georgetown. They opted out of zoning back in the early 2000s. So a lot of those do have their own individual zoning ordinances, and they have zoning people, but the other 12 unincorporated towns, we have general zoning jurisdiction, and we have zoning jurisdiction within all shoreland areas in the unincorporated part of Price County. So.
Questions?
No.
We can move on. So we adjourn this part of the meeting and we move into land conservation. We got the same roll call, except Mr. Erickson's here now. And public comment, communications. Anybody?
I have nothing.
Department reports.
I don't have anything new in land conservation for you. I did finalize all of our snowmobile stuff. for 25-26 season. I applied for the supplemental payment for the remainder of our grant and the additional funding we get for grooming for the year. Jason's still working on projects. We're about half done with those for the 2026 construction season. And he's doing some invasives control right now. We've got some leafy spurge that showed up in the southern part of Price County, which is a fairly noxious weed. It's actually cattle, or I think it's poisonous to cattle. It comes from out west. We're doing testing a biocontrol on that because it's down in Ogama and there's one small patch and I think it came from some hay that was purchased out west. So anyway, he's doing a biocontrol on that with some beetles, and hopefully that takes care of that small area before it gets into the rest of Price County. So
Any cattle affected?
I don't think so. Yeah, and actually the landowner down there was pretty interested. He helped contribute some funds towards the purchase of these to take care of it. Bergman was one of the owners, one of the farmers down there where it was located. So I don't know. Are you familiar with leafy
No,
spurge?
not at all.
Yeah, comes from out west, and it's not good, but hopefully it takes care of it.
I poked my head in and talked to Jason a little bit when I was in the office. You were gone. I talked to Amanda, but maybe when he's out of his peak workload season, it may be a good idea if the committee wants to just have him kind of some of the projects that he did, just so that we have some feel for what he's works on.
Sure,
I think that would be good. Maybe I don't know when.
Yeah,
Might even be after the first
winter-
of the year or something.
Winter time
yeah.
is probably
Yeah.
our slower
So
time for him over there.
You can set that up and
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that'd be good. All right, thank you. Anything else?
Just a question. I don't know, Evan, if you're as far as wildlife damage, are we up, down? Not much happening yet. I mean, I know
It seems we're getting a new person in that department every couple months, it seems like, from Wildlife Services. So I haven't communicated since Austin left. I haven't heard anything from our new person that replaced them. I did see him out by Crane Chase Bar they were assessing deer damage in one of the fields. So they are working out there. But I don't know if we're up, down. I imagine from driving around, the bears are going to be in the corn early this year.
Right.
That
Yeah,
corn's
that's
going to be about 3 weeks early. I would say to be milk stage early to mid August, I would guess, though, bears in the corn. But so they're going to have a long season for that. So but I don't know if damage is up, down. It's hard to tell.
Okay, all set? Okay, we move on to adjourn that meeting, move on to the miscellaneous. We got the minutes from our June 18th meeting. What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Minutes are approved. Got the vouchers? Everybody got the vouchers?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion on the vouchers? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Vouchers are approved. Next meeting will be September 17th, right?
Good job, Bob.
I see August 20th, it's on here.
I already have it crossed out.
So do we want to talk about the one after that since we go
Looks
too
like
ahead?
22.
October what?
22.
Okay. I don't want to have the wrath of Michelle.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
I mean, you all can still take the day off and just come out to the fair. That sounds
That's
like a better
Thursday,
plan.
right?
Yes.
I think it's free, right?
We have a perk, so I'll be there.
Good in yourself.
Okay, we're adjourned. So now we can start the extension part of the meeting. Holy cow. Did you have like a placard out in front here? Free coffee or something?
Fan club.
I thought it was over.
No.
Mr. Copic.
Nice to see your smiling
It's good to
face.
see you.
Yeah.
Fan club.
I know, right?
And Julie's here. Boy, we're in good shape.
Oh. Awesome. Let's get down to business.
Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call is the same. Any, no public comment? Anybody of you want to talk in public comment? No? Any communications? Anything? All right, area extension director updates.
Yeah, so at our last meeting, you asked me to bring our assistant dean so he could share some overall extension kind of visioning, because we were kind of doing a quick overview of what extension is and some of the resources we have available. And so voila, Jason is here. Jason Hausler, our assistant dean for the North. And so I will let him chat. And then if he doesn't say something that I think you all should know, I'll fill in. How does that sound? Pretty normal?
Yeah. Is there anybody?
You go right ahead. You got to press the button there. The green light goes on.
Great.
And your last name again, Jason?
Hausler.
H.
Hausler.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And good morning. Thanks for the introduction, Amber. And it's a pleasure to be with you this morning. And first off, I want to say and extend a huge appreciation for you as members of the Price County Extension Committee and Price County in general for your support and continued partnership with Extension. It is truly the lifeblood of what we do is partner with counties and to make the work of these educators and staff really be the eyes and ears of the Wisconsin idea out in the county. So a little bit of a quick, I have a couple notes here I want to go through, but then I would entertain questions, or to Amber's point, if there are things that I've missed that she feels like, please talk about that, then she can chime in. So my position is I work with Amber and all the area directors in Northern Wisconsin, as well as all the area directors across the state. So there's myself covering the North, and then my counterpart, Jeremy Solon, who covers the southern half of Wisconsin. So serving out of the dean's office, so we are the conduit. Amber's your conduit, but she's also the conduit to me, and as well as you are to the dean's office. And so looking at how we as an organization are operating, how we are in partnership with counties, the services we offer, both from a county perspective, as well as regional and state specialists, and the work that we do integrated with campus to meet the needs of the people where they live, where they work, where they recreate. So again, an appreciation for that partnership. And I just want to give some quick highlights in terms, not even highlights, but just some updates that are happening. So one of the things that you've experienced over the last 2 years-ish is Amber in this role. So when Art retired, we took some time. Experience. Yeah, it's a yellow brick road. Maybe that's the path. I don't know. So, many of you, I don't know, many of you, some of you may have experienced Art Lurch as the area director prior to Amber. And so when he retired, we did a point of discernment of like, are we appropriately staffed? Is the right county structure, the area structured right with the number of counties? At the same time, we were going through some fiscal challenges, like every county does, as well as budget season. You got to kind of move some pennies around and nickels and dimes. And so we took a pause on refilling that as it was. And so thankful for Amber stepping into the role in that interim basis. Since that time, we have actually realigned our areas. And so with that area alignment, Amber is now the permanent area director for Price County, as well as, yeah, you can clap for that. That's great. But it is different. So Art served Price, Taylor, Lincoln, and Langlade. Amber's as actually added Oneida. So we did some adjustment. We actually downsized our complete area director team. And so part of that is adding additional counties to some area directors. But again, happy that she's serving in this role here, serving Price County. So we've done some small organizational adjustments due to fiscal challenges. One of those, what I say the biggest fiscal challenge we experienced in the last year was the loss of FoodWise and the SNAP Ed dollars, to the tune of nearly 100 positions over the last, or in the fall of 25 were laid off as part of the reconciliation bill last July. And so again, the SNAP Ed dollars, there's the SNAP benefits, but it's the educational part of it. And so you can give somebody the resources to make food choices, but without understanding of how you can stretch dollars and what, good nutritious food looks like. That was where Extension came in, is giving them the resources to do that. So huge loss for our organization. Again, nearly 100 staff members were laid off. And so we're seeing the effects of that in our programming, in our communities. And so that is a huge loss. And so So that is, I guess, one of the big organizational challenges. We know that was a loss here to Price County in our FoodWise resources here. And we continue to think critically within our organization about how we can, again, when you have less, less is less. You can't do the same or more with less. And so, but there are ways that you can think critically of getting the information and resources out to the people across the state in a different way. Again, it won't look the same. It can't look the same. But we want to make sure that, again, all the things that we have to offer are available across the state. So the other piece of that in a kind of a funding landscape, we've had a lot of, as Price County has probably experienced, or any county across the state has experienced, the on again, off again funding challenges with our federal government in terms of we rely Smith-Lever funding. It's part of the Smith-Lever Act, and so that's the federal dollars that come in. There's been some changes and modifications that have happened to that award, and so there's a federal lawsuit that's going through. Wisconsin is part of that with 20 some other states. So it's all available. It's public information, so I'm not sharing anything that's not public. But that's 20 states have signed on to that legislation because it does really impact. It would if it did go through as it's been rewritten or proposed, it would drastically change how we do our work. And so that is something we're monitoring pretty substantially. That's about $10 million for Wisconsin. And that number hasn't changed. It's been static for the last 10, 15 years, but it is a huge part of what goes into supporting local educators, supporting the counties and the communities. So again, no change to it right now, but just know that is something we're monitoring. And again, on top of that, there are other federal awards that have been repealed and pulled back, which has impacted various programs. Again, not our local county educators, but some of the staff that they partner with. I just use Bruce as an example. I mean, in the ag arena, there's been a lot of ag grants that have either been on again, off again, and then the Hort arena, it's kind of, it just kind of rolls downhill. So we're just monitoring that federal landscape. And the other thing I want to just kind of highlight is, and again, Nick knows this, but again, appreciation for the WCA Extension Committee. And so we're actively working with that group in terms of how we can continue to improve our services with our county partners. It's been a journey, I'll say it that way, over the last couple of years, and Nick has been on that team, just kind of making sure that we are truly being as responsive as we can be to our counties and where they invest. And then the last thing I just want to highlight here is I know that over the last couple of years, I've been working with Nick and Amber. What I've heard is there's a desire to possibly bring another educator to Price County. We continue to be in conversations, and so know that is still open dialogue. And we have the 4-H staff that's here as resources come to bear from the state side or from the county side. We are all open to conversations of what that can and might look like here in Price County. So those are the overarching things I just want to touch on. And I just want to open up for any questions if that's allowed, and happy to entertain anything, and just appreciation for being here. Or if there's things that I've missed, Amber, that you feel like I should dig into. So, yeah.
I guess on the comment with the additional educator, I'm not sure. We have fairly new committee. We got a couple of new members and everything. What areas are we talking about, Nick, or specifically?
Yeah, it's come up twice. Once we brought forward a resolution, or the committee brought forward a resolution. It passed the committee. It ended up failing at the board, and that was I don't remember what category it was under, but it was community development for helping a lot of the municipalities when it came to grant writing or just getting the community development stuff.
Strategic planning.
Yeah.
Right.
So that one did fail at the board level. Then when the SNAP funding was reduced, the previous committee here talked an awful lot about do we bring something back as an educator to fill that type of education in the area. We never came up with funding or really the approach. Like Jason said, we've had Amber, myself, Jason have had many conversations on what does that look like to extend or create additional education opportunity here in the community. And it's not necessarily bring a full-time new community development or a new time. It may be working more with 4-H and expanding that program. It may be something else. So ultimately it comes down to we're looking at our options, but it has to come from the committee once we come up with, or you guys have to come up with that idea of how you want to see that, what the community needs are. I know that's a big part of it is, where is it? Is it a community development? Is it 4-H? Is it what other ever, ag or whatever other area?
Yeah. If I may, Mr. Chairman, I just, so Nick's is right in the CDI position that was brought forward a couple years ago. We sent a letter to that committee at the time and saying, if this passes the full board, we stand ready to reciprocate on a co-funded aspect of that. So we feel strongly where extension is underrepresented with staff, in that tune of two educators, and where we don't have that threshold. Again, those are the counties that could really utilize our services. And so we want to be engaged in those conversations to get to that kind of 2.0 level of FTE. If we can get there, if the county and the board and committees are supportive, we stand ready to have those conversations. So again, there are some counties that, as you are aware, across the state that maybe have more resources to bring to bear, and we stand ready where we're underrepresented to have those conversations more in depth to serve rural and underserved populations. So,
And I would expect we wouldn't have to go from a complete jump from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. We can go somewhere in the middle if that's what our needs are, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, we have 0.5 now, right? So we is 0.5. The state puts in about 0.25 of that. The county puts in 0.25. So it doesn't, those co-funded positions end up leveraging state dollars so that you don't have to pay the full salary and benefits for an educator. We share that. That's that partnership. That's really, really important. There are not unlimited numbers of co-funded positions in each of the institutes, right? Just like you, there's a limited budget. And so each institute only has so many FTE. So those are often competitive. I mean, there are some counties right now that have dollars and I can't get co-funding. And so their little amount that they can contribute will not go as far as if I can get co-funding. So when Jason says, the dean is really entertaining, like in places where we're understaffed, there's only 2 staff or less, we're going to prioritize those with some of our co-funding that we do have available.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that, because I think if you're new to it, not understanding how that partnership works or the money. So does that make sense, or are there any questions about that?
No, just a comment. And I don't know if you're familiar anyway, but we have a 10-county area up here, and we do a lot of things together. We have a Workforce Investment Board, District 7. That's the same 10 counties. We have Northwest Regional Planning. It's the same 10 counties.
Yeah.
So our relationships are constant.
Yeah.
And so working within those 10 counties, you're going to have a different, call it a level of cooperation possibly than you are. We don't get into Lincoln much. We don't get into Oneida much, that kind of stuff. So it all depends, you've got a 10-county area that maybe you could do a little bit more with than you might be able if you got out of that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I appreciate that comment, Mr. Chairman, because I think that is something that we are, again, as I go back to the conversation about FoodWise and the loss of that, again, where we have some staff that are health and well-being educators that counties are investing in, can we do some things on a regional scale? smaller investments from each county, knowing that many counties do already partner across multi-counties. I mean, I think of Central Wisconsin, the ADRC, it's multi-county ADRC, multi-county planning programs. I mean,
So we have a 5-county ADRC. Yeah.
yep. So there's a lot of that counties are already used to. And so how can we think critically about our staffing structure? Again, strongly believe in the local educators, because that local context is imperative to truly getting at the needs and the wants of the committee and what the county truly is experiencing. And when appropriate, when resources come to bear, can we work across counties on very similar things? One of the things that recently that many counties are struggling, or maybe you've heard, I don't know if the Price County, but housing, infrastructure, broadband, all these things that, again, don't stop at the border of the county. I mean, it's multiple counties. So how can we think critically about our staffing? Yeah. Thank you for that question. Other questions? Or
I guess one of the things that is always is brought up a lot is grant funding, grant writing. And that's something that unfortunately Nick has heard me talk about a lot at the town. I'm also a town board supervisor. We, in our townships and even in our county, we don't have the resources, or I don't want to say talent, but the experience in writing grants successfully. And one of the things that I've said several times to not only to our lawmakers and stuff, but is there a way that we can tap into the university system and have folks assist us in grant writing, whether it's evaluating, revising, being able to put that objective look to it, to help wordsmith it, to make it a successful grant. And that, again, whether it be at the technical college level or it would be at the university level, and having somebody in those departments being able to partner with us to get that application over the finish line.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. And so I'll give you a not clear answer, but I hope it's clear enough in how you can leverage extension, right? So one of the things that we get asked by counties a lot is like, we would like to hire this person to be a grant writer. I can tell you that our role is education. And so being a project manager to write grants, in project management, that through is not a position we want to be in. Right. However, we are a resource to your question about looking critically at grant opportunities and how they can, whether or not it fits within the scope of what they truly are intending. So does this opportunity for grant funding align with the organization's mission, like the towns? Does this align with what we need in our town? And being a resource to bring information to bear on an application.
Yes.
And we can do that. We should be the partner in that because we have a body of resources and research that we can then bring to bear. The writing and the management of it that falls within that jurisdiction or that organization, because that's more sustainable. You build in that capacity.
Absolutely.
And do that. And so one of the things, so it's a yes and the other thing for our towns association, we actually have an integrated specialist, Melissa Kono, our clerk specialist, that is actually embedded. It's funded by the towns, but is an extension employee to really be a conduit to the towns association. We have one with the League of Municipalities as well.
Sure.
And so I would say that we're finding those inroads where we're hearing the need for those things. So it's a yes, but also I want to be clear that we just can't write the grant, but we can bring those things to bear in a capacity building.
Absolutely. I mean, County Hill, we recently just completed a grant from the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin. Very application limited on characters in sections.
Yeah.
It was a very nice, straightforward grant application versus some of those that are.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one we were successfully able to get by ourselves, but some of those other ones that are out there, we don't have that expertise to be able to, I'll say, wordsmith it as appropriately to get those over the finish line as maybe other counties that have those folks that have that niche in being able to do that. So I would love to partner with you guys too. And I know to get a hold of Amber.
Yeah. Get a hold of Amber.
As new opportunities arise from that perspective.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, please leverage Amber in the conversation. I think the one thing I'll just kind of put a bow on this is that our Community Development Institute does offer statewide programming. And I have seen over the last year and a half that they offered grant writing workshops. to towns, municipalities, or whoever wants to take it. So again, where to find those grants, how to, think, and then from the application, we want to be that conduit of like helping to think critically about how it's worded, keywords, those sort of things, and the stuff that's there. So
And AI is going to help with some of that, but it still needs to have that
Yep.
human touch.
Yep, for sure. And actually, I have heard that, speaking of AI, some grantees or grant awarders, they know how to find those AI ones. So you really have to have that personal touch to it. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the question. Yeah. Other questions? Okay. Thank you for allowing me the chance to be with you today. I'll stick around. So after the meeting, I'm happy to answer any questions after that. So thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Hey, Bob, can I just add one thing about Jason? I think the other important piece is if at any point there is a concern, you or, Nick, anyone has a concern with how things are going in Price County, I mean, now you have a face of who, if you are not comfortable or there's some issue with me, I definitely want you to always know and feel comfortable. I think Jason's incredibly personable. And so that is where you would definitely go. So I just want to make sure.
So what's your phone number?
Yeah, I know. Put it on speed dial.
So do you want to continue with your staff reports?
Yeah, we're super, look at this staff. Isn't this exciting? We talk about a 0.5 and yet look at all that you're leveraging here, providing quality educational programming. It is so exciting. So I will actually turn it over to them. I think Julie will probably get started and then we'll go from there. I also had Bruce come. Bruce is our state horticulture specialist or one of them and just happens to be housed out of our office, which I think is, it continues to bring some of that university resources in research local. We provide an office space so he can kind of come and work from that. But other than that, the county doesn't have to invest, but he's here. And so when people stop in, and he's able to answer some of their questions and help. So we kind of get an added benefit. And I thought he could come and give a quick update too. All right, Julie.
So let's try that.
There you go.
All right. My name's Julie Diepenbrock, and I am the 4-H educator here in Price County as well as in Taylor County. So with me this summer, I have Trinity. I need you up here too. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I have 3 people with me, working with me this summer, 3 young college-age ladies. First is Caitlin Schultz. Caitlin is my summer intern. So the way summer intern works is it is divided between both Price and Taylor County. So her funding, I'm going to give you the funding part on this too. Her funding comes partly from Price County, partly from the Price County adult leaders, partly from Taylor County, and partly from the Taylor County Federation. So all 4 of those entities go together to put the money in. So you get a lot of bang for not very much on this. So Caitlin was with us last year as an AmeriCorps member. She's doing a fabulous job. I'm going to have her tell you in just a minute one of the projects that she's been working on for us in Price County this summer. Next, we have Trinity. We have Chloe. I'm calling the wrong names all summer long. And I tell them I call my daughters by the wrong name. So why should they be any different? Anyway, so we have Chloe. And Chloe is a longtime 4-H member from here in Price County. And she is serving this summer as an AmeriCorps member for Price County. If you will remember, like I said, last summer, we had AmeriCorps. And Caitlin served both Price and Taylor. And we thought it worked good, but it would be even better if we had an opportunity to have one specifically for Price County. So Chloe is in that role this summer. Trinity, on the other hand, and she does help out with a few activities in Taylor County. And then Trinity Wesley is a longtime Taylor County 4-H member who is serving as an AmeriCorps member in Taylor County primarily, but she's doing some activities in Price County as well. So at this time, I'm going to take just a minute to let Caitlin talk just about one of the projects that she's been working on, and then Chloe's going to talk about one of the projects that she's been working on. So,
sure. All right. Hello, everybody. So I guess one of the main things I've been working on this summer is we have an older youth expedition that was started last summer, and that's mainly focusing on middle school aged youth and high school. So it's trying to get them more engaged in the county and giving them a chance to kind of talk to each other. So we're going to Spooner, Wisconsin this year for the trip, and it's just a short day trip there, and we're doing all kinds of educational things. So we're going to start it off with a train ride, and then we're going to do a tour of the state fish hatchery over there, and some time at a local arcade and a mini golf place, and then some time to explore downtown. So it's going to be a fun day.
Thank you. Right, Chloe.
So through the AmeriCorps thing, we are piloting a food and nutrition course. So I have been working on that with Park Falls Elementary. We did 6 lessons, all about different foods groups, and we actually made the food with the kids. We had about 40-ish kids in those groups, and it was really quite interesting with them.
Good, thank you. All right, you 3 can sit down. You don't have to suffer through standing there. All right. That would just be awkward for too long. But thanks to them, I am able to offer many more programming opportunities this summer. And let me just tell you, they are fabulous young ladies and doing a great job for you. So that's super exciting to me. So when you look at the number of, up here in this box where it talks about the number of after school and community youth programs, some of that is the numbers that they were talking about as far as the 40 youth at Park Falls up there. We went up there, there are 6 lessons. What we did is 2 different, we did 2-hour sections. So we did 1 lesson, 1 group, and 1 group did another with 20 kids each, and then we switched. So they had an opportunity to have all 6 lessons on that. Really good nutrition information. And I have to tell you, I was just surprised at what youth will eat. I had no idea they would eat that much bean dip, but it was crazy. Then there are French toast and some different kinds of pizzas, and just a variety with a lot of nutrition information that went with that, as well as some physical activity as well. So those are just a couple of the things that they've been doing this summer. I'm also I haven't been here since about March, so I'm going to back up just a little bit and give you a little bit, some of the things. I know usually I talk about the after school programs. I'm just going to tell you kind of what we did in April. Just happened to do Lego robotics at Park Falls with about 22 youth. You'll see in here, this one was not an after school program, but on this second page, there's one bread in a bag. The lady who runs the after school program at Park Falls, it teaches 2nd grade up there. She's also the summer school coordinator. So she was the one that allowed us, communicated with and collaborate with for this summer program with the AmeriCorps. And I will comment too that AmeriCorps had a special grant for the funding to pay for the food for that as well. So that made it where no extra dollars were needed from the county on that. So that was really nice. So did bread in a bag with 47 2nd graders one morning. We made 47 loaves of bread. And so each of them got to take home their own loaf of bread, already cooked, ready to go. I made extras for each group so that they could all try it that day. And so it was really a whole lot of fun. It was a little bit of a mess, but it was a whole lot of fun. They learned a lot. And so I think that went really well. But just another opportunity, and Park Falls has been incredibly gracious in that. This spring, we also, I had done after school programming before, and I had kind of been waiting, hoping I could get an AmeriCorps member during the school year to do some programming. And when you do programming, they need new, more, and different. So I was kind of waiting on Phillips to start with Phillips and Prentice so that I knew I had some places to go that lined up. Well, that didn't happen, so I decided, yeah, I'm just doing it anyway. So this spring, I did several different programs, one in January, February, March, and April, with each Phillips and Prentice schools. And so those have turned out pretty nicely as well. Shooting sports. We've had archery for a number of years here in Price County. Ed Ulrich has led that and done usually about 8 sessions of archery. During the week nights, a couple of times a week for about 4 weeks. But that's after our Project Fund Day, which I'm going to come back to in a minute. But in addition, this year, we also had Tyler and Lane Bishop led pellet rifle. And so between the two disciplines, we had about 12 kids doing 6 to 8 different sessions on shooting sports, learning safety and techniques and those types of things. So great opportunity for those youth. You can see there's also stuff about library programs. We've been in each of the libraries in the county this summer doing activities with them. Summer school, we were also at Prentice Summer School for a couple of different times. So some different activities there. Down at the bottom, our 4-H clubs continue to, at each of their meetings, they do different kinds of activities. Kids are learning leadership activities, leadership skills, and having a lot of service projects as well. So you can see some of that. Back up to Project Fund Day. We had about 45 youth on April 11th down at Prentice School, and with a number of adults with that as well. Some of the things that we had going were archery, pie crust making, bubble making with 3D ones, Lego robotics, photography, a couple of different art things. There were like 11 different sessions that kids had. So some of the things that they said, 2 new things you learned today: how to making good snacks, how to make a pie crust, how to make art with feathers, how to use a 3D pen, how real artists paint, rocks are white, bubbles are cool, how to paint. Those are a few of the things they said. And comments afterward, I loved them all. It was awesome. They were great. Some of them said they were great, but a little too long. Can we shorten those just a little? Good info. We'll take that into mind and try and do that next time. So, love Project Fund Day. The last thing that I want to talk about is summer camp. I think that's just truly a wonderful 4-H opportunity for a number of our youth in Price County. We go to Northern Lakes Impact Center over at Rhinelander, that's on Crescent Lake. The main events this year are things that we have that we think youth don't always get the opportunity to do. So we had canoeing, orienteering, how to use a compass in the outdoors. That was led by their staff. We had they gave us pontoon boat rides where kids were able to learn other things about boating safety and a lot of other information there. Every kid had an opportunity to make a birdhouse and take that home with them. You can see that on the front. So all of our youth campers and our counselors were able to take those home. They had them assembled in about an hour. It was a great opportunity for them to learn a skill, take something home, and a little bit of teamwork because they had to work together on it, because you got to hold it just right to get that to go together well. So that was really nice. We also had 3 doodler pens as a STEM activity. Free time, they had a chance to do mini golf, gaga ball. Boating, they have a really nice place where they have pedal boats, canoes, the fun yaks, the 1-person kayaks, paddle boards, swimming. They also have an opportunity to do skits, and because of the rain, we had an opportunity to have an impromptu talent show. Let me just tell you, when you have 3rd through 7th graders and you say, hey, we're having a talent show, you never know what you're going to get. So you may get a kid up there telling a joke. You may get a kid doing cartwheels and backflips and things that, were kind of amazing. And interesting to me, this was the most interesting one. We had kids that would get up there and go, I'm going to spell, and they'd give you this really long word that they were going to spell for you. And they would spell it. And I'm like, okay. And then other kids would go, I'm really good at math. Give me a math problem and I'll spit it out for you. And so it was fun to see kids get up there and show their talents that they had and share those and other kids in the crowd cheering for him. So that was a great opportunity as well. I think for our counselors, and we had 12 counselors overall, 2 of them were from Price County. It's a great opportunity for them to learn some leadership skills. They're responsible over this 3-day, 2-night period for guiding those youth, for making sure that they get where they're supposed to be, that they get along, all of those things. I just think that's a tremendous opportunity for them. For our youth, the idea of the independence, every year we have parents tell us, we ask, what can we do to help make this experience better? Or what do we need to know? And every year we have parents tell us, this is my kid's first time away from home. Got it. We got your kid. You know, we're going to make sure. And so we have small groups. It was, I will tell you this, it is probably the best summer camp I've ever been to. We had exactly 0 behavior problems in youth. None. 0. That is not normal. Let me just tell you. We also, I don't know if I should say this one or not, but I'm just going to go out there and say it anyway. I had 0 problems with the adults that were there. They weren't complaining. They were all nice. And that's not always the case either. Sometimes they kind of get as grumpy as the kids do. So it was truly a wonderful week at camp, and just so very thankful for that. So I just want to thank you again for all you guys do to make these opportunities happen for our youth in Price County. Any questions?
I have one.
I'm listening.
4-H enrollment. Are
Yeah.
we going up, down in Price County?
That's a good question. It is slightly up, and by slightly, I mean like 1 or 2 people. So we have stayed. So if you went back to the 70s and 80s, we would be way down. There were also more youth in Price County at that time, and fewer opportunities for youth. I came in 2020, so I've been here just a little over 6 years. And since then, COVID did a number on many organizations. Price County 4-H was no exception to that. We've increased slightly since then. I can't tell you it's been a lot. And quite frankly, at 0.5% is really hard to grow a program. I do as much as I can to give kids as many opportunities. And what I will tell you is slightly different from the way things are too, is usually we were counting the number of kids who are in. So when you ask the number, and the number you see here, the number that you see is the number that are enrolled in 4-H online, which means that they are in one of our 7 4-H clubs or our horse council. Okay. But really what happens is all of our programs are open to youth that aren't in a 4-H club. So we have kids come to our pellet rifle and archery that are not 4-H, not in one of our 4-H clubs. We have, when we go to do Project Fun Days at Prentice, at least half of the kids are not in a 4-H club, probably 2/3. When I do after school programs, I see 1 or 2 of the kids in the group that are 4-H members, the rest of them are not. So so if you look at the number of kids that are exposed to and participating in 4-H programs, that's a different number than the number that are in our 4-H clubs.
And I guess that's kind of what I was touching to, seeing that you are involved in a lot of programs, if that is helping enrollment of 4-H.
So I'm going to go with a yes, and to a certain extent. But this is what I tell people when I do those kinds of programs. There are 3 things that I think about. Number 1, I think it creates goodwill between 4-H and the community. Hey, we're out here doing these things. And I don't know, every time I do a day camp and I have up our banner, almost always I'll have somebody stop by and go, oh, I was in 4-H, or my kids are in 4-H. It's so good to see you guys still doing things. Or we see, down in Ogama when they do their brat sale, people look forward and start asking them ahead of time, when's your brat sale? And they're planning, because they want to support that program. And they do a lot of different service projects. They're the ones that put the flags out on the cemeteries for Memorial Day weekend. So those kinds of things. So goodwill is one of them. Just providing positive activities for kids to do to be involved in good programs is the second one, whether they're going to be in a 4-H club or not. I want them to be exposed to 4-H and what all we have to offer. And then the third one is recruitment. And so, yes, I can tell you this was a day camp, not a day camp, a library program that did this summer that we only had 4 kids at, but it was two families, and each of those parents stayed after and said, okay, we're really interested in getting our kids in 4-H this fall. What can you tell us about that? And so making the connections there. So it's a kind of yes and to that question.
Can you explain the difference between being just participating and actually being a 4-H member? So is that part of the hard, like, hey, my kid will participate, but now I found out in order to register or be a 4-H member, is there other requirements what's the difference, I guess, by just.
That's a good question, Nick. Thank you. So participation means it was a one-time event that one time or multiple time within a very limited time frame. When they become a 4-H member, means they went into 4-H online, they enrolled as a 4-H member. Each club, and we have 7 different clubs, it's called regular 4-H club meetings. Most of them skip the month of December. A lot of them skip the month of August because they're just really busy months for a lot of reasons. There are some that have 10 club meetings. Others of them may have 4, 5, or 6. So it doesn't mean that they have one every month. But at those club meetings, then they're learning a little bit about Robert's Rules of Order, how a meeting is run. They're getting youth voice. They're asking them, okay, so what do you guys want to do this year? When they go to a program, they're pretty much showing up and they're just doing whatever I have planned for them. Their youth voice when we go to day camp is, do you want ham or turkey on that sandwich? It's not a lot there. But when they're in a club, then they have a lot more. They also have many more opportunities as far as learning more about their projects. And we'll go with the Market Animal Project for a moment. There are a number of requirements within that program where they need some educational programs where they meet and do things. And so that's just a different level of participation than if we just have a 4-H participant. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just trying to point out that there's more to it.
There is, absolutely. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
It says office support, which is Nancy, and Nancy's back at the office, but you'll notice in the written report, she did write something up, just kind of giving a summary. Nancy's been with us not quite a year, but it's going really well. The other role Nancy has in the county, which is sometimes a little bit, could be confusing or we want to be careful about, is she is also the fair secretary. So she serves in that role as well, which is separate from our office. But because the fair and 4-H are often connected, did you just say that, Michelle, at one point when I was not here just a couple minutes ago? Why were you discussing my stuff? Anyway, so just as a reminder about that, I just want to make sure that that's clear. But Nancy's back keeping the office open. It is a busy time as fair preparation and questions come in from 4-H members.
Sure.
But I love to be on the mic. Can you tell? So much fun. So Bruce is here, Bruce Springer, who is our horticulture specialist. And Bruce has also been using space. Is it a year and a half?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably about a year and a half. And so he's kind of back in our corner office a few days a week. Bruce is there. He is part-time. So I'll let him explain more about his role and what that looks like.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Bruce Spangberg. I'm an outreach specialist. I'm statewide. So I'm happy to be housed here, and I appreciate being able to work out of Price County. So our team basically, I don't report to Amber. I don't report to Jason. I report to the horticulture manager, who it's a statewide team. And we've kind of restructured over the last year to be a little more specialized. So my specialty actually is lawns and turf grass statewide. We just hired a tree and urban forestry specialist. We have another one that does fruit crops, another one that does herbaceous plants, perennials, indoor plants, that kind of thing. So we work as a team. Some of the things we do then to support the counties, we have what's called Ask a Gardener. It's actually 24/7. You can actually do it from home. But if someone were to come into Price County, if I happen to be around, as Amber mentioned, I will help people out. I ran into a guy literally the other day who had an apple tree problem in the hallway, and I talked to him about it. But Ask a Gardener, basically, you can submit your question. You can upload pictures, like if you have a plant that has an issue, and then it goes to someone on the team that has that specialty. So most of the turf ones come to me, and then we get back to those people. So that's available. We also do monthly Ask a Gardening Live where people can actually log on either on their phone or on their computer. And then we have a panel. We take questions that people submit and we kind of discuss them as a group. And the people, again, if they don't have the opportunity at that session, they can still put their question on and we'll get back to them through the other means. Other things that I do, I write a weekly column. It's called Wisconsin Yard and Garden that goes statewide. It's on our website. It's also in a number of papers around the state. Locally, the closest ones would be Lakeland Times, Wausau, Iron County, and also Superior. We also do, we have diagnostic clinics to back up. I should have mentioned, like if someone submits a question and it's a problem we can't quite figure out just by looking at pictures or what they described. We do have clinics downstate for diseases and insects to do additional maybe culturing to figure out exactly what that problem might be. And otherwise, we do webinars and things that are statewide. Most of that's advertised through our website. So that's another opportunity to help support the counties. And part of our team, we do still have some educators that are housed in counties, but not very many. Mostly it's, like we have our statewide team and then we have some county team, county educators or some multi-county educators as part of that as well. So any questions on anything?
Where do you live, Bruce? Are you
I live in
Price
Park
County?
Falls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why Price County is very convenient for me.
Oh, sure.
Some of our team members, one's in Green Bay, the one we just hired is in Milwaukee. A couple are based in Madison. So we are scattered around the state, even though we're statewide.
Do you have client visits, or are they walk-in, or do you make appointments, or when people want to talk to you, or how does that work?
I can. Most of it is done, like I said, through the Ask a Gardener, or it's done electronically.
Okay.
So like I say, someone came in the office with a problem and, Nancy was there and took it. If I was around, I could help with that. Otherwise, she would direct them to the Ask a Gardener and then someone else would get back to them.
Okay.
So I'm not, even though I'm housed here, I'm not a county educator like in the past where you would be there for that daily
Yeah.
contact, but I'm not going to turn someone away. If I'm here and I can help them,
Yeah.
I'll help. Yeah.
Now, have you lived in Price County long, or?
About 3 years.
Oh, okay.
I lived in Eagle River prior to
Oh,
that. So
okay.
I was retired, but I'm not retired anymore. So.
It's hard to retire
Yeah,
sometimes.
it is.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. What else? That's it? Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, we haven't had you here very often lately. I think a little confusion with getting the committees going, and we postponed some stuff and the timing wasn't right, and we had a cut.
Some other things in zoning and land conservation that kind of take a little bit
Oh,
of time,
really?
even today.
Oh,
So
yeah.
thanks for making
We're
room and
talking
space
about
for
trees
us.
today because we need a buffer with our gravel pit, which is,
got
nobody
things and
cares about
stuff.
gravel pit. So they'll be planting, what, in the fall or next spring? In the fall? Spring? Okay, we want to make sure we get a good buffer. So anyway, well, thank you all. Appreciate y'all being here. Okay. So with that, what do we have here? Financial reports and vouchers? That's all done or not?
That's all done. That's
We're all
just
done.
if there's any questions.
Yeah.
For the
Any
UW
questions
part.
on any of that stuff? No? I think we're ready to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you all.